Another text writes in, Leroy, Dolphins players ripping Tua in the Herald. Hashtag damage is done, my friend. I perused this article, Leroy. Do you want to hear some of this stuff that was?
Sure.
So, Armando Salguero has a column in the Miami Herald that is basically playing off the announcement that Chris Greer said that Tua Tagovailoa is going to be the starting quarterback. And it writes, this caught the attention of at least 3 players within the team because they have told the Herald in recent days they did not see enough from Tua in the 2020 season to promise him anything for next season. One player said, quote, I understand what they said, but I don't understand why. These players remain hopeful that Tua Tagovailoa will improve, but admitted that he was not outstanding as a rookie in their opinions. And anyone who watched the Dolphins last season indeed saw Tua was good at times and not good at others. Quote, Flores, quote, I think Tua made a lot of improvement, really developed over the course of the year, so we'll just continue to try and make improvements. That was from Brian Flores earlier after the season ended. But the concerning thing to the players who spoke to the Herald is that they are not convinced that Tagovailoa is going to be great in the future. They said they were unimpressed by Tagovailoa during training camp to the point that they thought he wouldn't be ready to play in 2020. They said they were caught totally off guard, as one put it, when Tua was named the starter in the 7th game of the season. And another said before the season finale, when the players were informed that Fitzpatrick was not going to be available to play against the Bills, they were disappointed. He was disappointed because he believes that Fitzpatrick is better than Tagovailoa. These players, speaking anonymously because they say coaches demand they never voice their concerns in the media, all agree Tua is a great person. They say that he is humble, quiet, and a good competitor, and this is good. But the players also say they do not see a special trait in Tagovailoa's skill set beyond his accuracy. One defensive player said he isn't impressed with Tagovailoa's ball velocity or arm strength or ability to make off-schedule plays with his legs. So ultimately, questions whether if Tagovailoa will ever be able to match the feats of other quarterbacks in the AFC, such as Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, or Deshaun Watson. Quote, those are the boys that we got to beat, right? The player said. And it looks right now like that's going to be a big challenge. An offensive player said that he likes Tagovailoa as a teammate and is hopeful that he becomes great someday. But that same player added that he got frustrated when, when Flores told the team that Fitzpatrick would not be available in the season finale. We always think it's next man up no matter what, but I saw Tua as the next man up, and Fitz was better.
That was. That sounds like old number 11.
Wow, really?
Hey, is there any receiver benefited more from having Fitz in the game?
Man, well, listen.
But here's what I'll say. Let's break this down, okay? And one of the things that I've always told you since I've known you is this. I'm going to be careful with how I critique college athletes and young players in the NFL because I was there. And I wasn't no great player as soon as I got into college or into the NFL. And so I'm not going to act like, I'm the end-all be-all when it comes to how a guy should be performing because I wasn't performing at my best soon as I got into the league. So I always say with young players, I've always said this, give them time to develop. Now, the one thing I'll say about just sports in general is when you're not sure of what to do, it sometimes affects your athletic ability, right? So, for example, if you're a cornerback and you're not sure who to cover and you're a step late and you get blown by, people may assume that you're slow. And it may not be that you're slow. It may be you just don't know where to go. When you're a quarterback and you're throwing the football and you're uncertain, a lot of times that comes across as holding the football too long. We've seen a lot of quarterbacks do that. In Tua's case, because they emphasize it so much, he gives a quick look down the field and then looks to the short pass. So that was one of the ramifications of that attitude. Nobody ever questioned Tua's arm before he got to Miami. Nobody ever questioned it, right? Now, he's going to have an arm more like Drew Brees than Josh Allen, but we knew that.
Yeah, but do you think it was a question of arm strength, or do you think that's just a question of he's trying to be safe? Like,
I think it's a question of uncertainty. Dude, it's hard to do what Tua did as far as picks. I can't imagine. If you pull up who had the least amount of interceptions as a quarterback, minimum 250 throws, Tua's got to be. I mean, think of all the great quarterbacks you've seen and look at their first year.
Mm-hmm.
It's all trial and error. And the only thing I fear about Tua is he hasn't had enough trial. So he hasn't had a lot of errors because he's always made the safe play.
Yeah. And the other thing that sucks about this, though, is like how many guys in that offense really could like point to Tua and say, "Oh, I don't think he's special."
No,
like how many guys?
They're not pointing at Tua. Okay, let's be clear. They're asked about Tua, but they're pointing to the situation that he's in. Okay, they're pointing to, hey, none of us have been insured a job. Mm-hmm. You're not guaranteed a job in football. You're just not. And if you look at the year that Tua had, he didn't do anything to promise him the starting job. What he was promised is an opportunity to grow. And so to name him the starter,
it's not naive though. Like we know that
it
this
is.
position,
It is not. It is. I'm not saying. I'm not saying it's not naive. But what I'm saying is look at it from other players going through what they're going through in their situation. That's how that comes. Look, the first thing you're told in football, at every level of football, I don't care who you are, you got to earn it. Mm-hmm. So anytime you go into an environment, whether you understand the situation or not, where somebody's given a job without kind of officially earning it, it could rub you the wrong way. Not saying that he shouldn't be the starting quarterback. I'm just saying, like one of the players said, there's no reason to name him the starting quarterback for next year. No need. If he wouldn't have said that.
Well, they're asked. I mean, like.
Right.
They're asked. Like
I get it, but coach, hey, he coach speak about everything else.
But it's the GM doesn't. The GM said that he's the guy.
Okay.
He goes,
okay.
Chris Greer, I want to be clear that Tua is our starter, and we're very happy with his development so far. One player reacts to that. I don't know, man. That's like a puzzle right there.
All I'm trying to say is that I understand where the players are coming from. And it's not a knock on Tua. It's a knock on the situation that they've been through, and to see a guy given something. You're reading the text, I know.
That anonymous source sounds a lot like somebody that rhymes with Bamonte Larker.
Well, I told you it was.
You did.
Right. Now, for example,
I tell you what though. Let's
look at this. You think the new coach that goes into the Chargers and he says Justin Herbert is our starter, you think they have a problem with that there?
No.
Because why?
Or Joe Burrow.
Right, because they've all, here. I hate comparing other situations to Tua's situation, because those two guys were in two different situations with two different.
They weren't contending, and quite frankly, they didn't have a comparable backup. I mean, it's tough with Tyrod Taylor; he got his lung stabbed, but they didn't have anybody who's going to threaten the gig,
and they weren't winning games with defense. Right? If you look at let's think about some of the greatest defenses we've ever seen. The Ravens, the 85 Bears, the Patriots a couple of those years, right? Their quarterback didn't have to be Aaron Rodgers or Drew Brees.
Well, right? we know one person who's been rats off a ship on Tua completely on our show. Robbie, your reaction to this article?
Good. It's about time some of these players pick up. He's a bum. That's what I would have said.
Robbie, can I ask you a question? Hold on. Here's I don't care. I don't care about opinions. I really don't. You can have your thought. But Why do you feel that way?
Oh, look, Tua came in with all this hype. And, I was a part of it, too. I mean, there may be a little bit of Manish Mehta in me that I feel like I got wronged, and so I'm lashing out. I'm lashing out.
How did you get wronged?
Well, I was sold on Tua coming out of the draft.
Football messiah.
And
but again, what did he do to change your mind?
Well, look, he had all those wide receivers at Alabama. He threw like a 5-yard slant pass.
No,
75
Robbie,
yard for a touchdown.
What did he do here?
He pooped the bed in the big game. And you know what? And everyone's blaming the weapons and the receivers around him. But you know what? The weapons and the receivers, nobody was complaining about him when Fitzpatrick was the quarterback. And all of a sudden, Tua's the quarterback. Oh, no, he needs more weapons. Get out of here. Guy's a bum.
With that said,
note write all this down. Okay, but hey, can I ask you a question? Robbie, seems like you were holding that in the holster for quite some time.
I've said this before.
He came out kind of angry.
Oh, he's been thinking about it.
Now we're going to use a third overall pick on a wide receiver because Tua's a bum. And we have to trade all our picks. We have to trade all our picks for Watson.
I don't think after going 6-3 with a high percentage completion percentage,
Fugazi,
and playing, it could very well be.
I mean, you said it.
But I don't think he's done anything to be a bum yet.
Poop the bed in the big game.
He's a rookie.
You know who else is a rookie? Tyler Hero. And he didn't poop the bed in big games in the finals as a rookie, quote unquote.
He had 8 games. They play 7-game series. It's different in basketball.
No,
he played
dude, he's
60 games.
He was amazing in the bubble. Everybody knows it. And now he's starting to turn the corner in this regular season too.
Okay.
Big onions.
And guess what? Big onions. But if James Harden comes a knocking, gone onions. Onions be going.
We'll take a quick break. Robbie has a perfect segue for us. Rats Off a Ship is next.
Rats Off a Ship, Game 6.